Hey all, Yukine here. So in this video we're going to be going over Renta Advent, some of the mechanics, team compositions, and things to watch out for. To start off with, we're going to be going into the party info. The main units I would recommend putting in your party, even if you don't have her built up, is Red Hooded Scarlet. The reason being is she does provide a attack bonus by 100% if Scarlet's in the party. So that's going to increase your attack damage by quite a large amount. Even if she's not built up, you're losing that one character spot for everyone else on your team, doing about double damage. Xenon, if you have him, is a pretty good unit to run. I don't have him just yet. He hasn't come around in the Advents, but he provides an 80% accuracy bonus if Xenon's in the party. So you'll be able to ignore Renta's dodge mechanic. But again, I don't have him, so I won't be able to run him. Jess provides poison immunity for the fight. It's not something that's really necessary. You're only going to be dealing with that in the first half of the Advent dungeon, and even then it's kind of an annoyance at most, unless you just don't have the damage to kind of clear through it quickly. So typically my party is going to be Morrigan as a leader. I run Leafa, Rue, and then Scarlet for that attack bonus. You can run just about anything else in here. You can run with a Helper Morrigan or Helper Electra. When I don't have a Helper up, I'll run with Electra. In this case, we do have a Morrigan, so we can run double Morrigan for that 80% attack bonus to fire allies. The Rue and the Leafa slots are pretty open. You can run just about anything there, besides wind and dark units. Renta has a mechanic where he'll just instantly kill most wind and dark units, unless you run something like Electra's damage immunity shield just going into that fight with Renta. But then he kind of rotates every other turn, or every few turns he'll attack your entire team, and that'll end up killing those wind and dark units again anyways. So besides them, you can run just about anything else. You're mainly going to be fighting against wind enemies, besides on the first round, so it's highly recommended that you run a fire team. Another thing that's nice with running Rue is she allows you to kind of ignore some of the mechanics on the first fight, or it just makes that first part easier if you do run the risk of having to rely upon revives. The reason why I put my team composition with this order, where I had Morrigan, Leafa, and Rue, is because she'll be using her second skill to provide a status immunity buff for 2 turns to these 3 characters. And the reason for this is 2 of the enemies that you're going to face in the first round, upon death, will prevent all your characters from being able to revive. The small snakes have a neutralizer buff, where upon dying, will apply that buff to a random character on your team, which can remove the no revive debuff. So at this point, we're going to want to damage the large snakes. And when it comes to around to Rue's turn, we're going to apply our status immunity. So her second skill grants abnormal status immunity to the target for 2 turns. So we're going to apply that to these 3 characters. So at this point, they have that abnormal status immunity. and they will no longer get that debuff. So here we can see these three characters do not have that no revive debuff. My helper Morgan on the side does, so she will not be able to revive. And at this point we're going to kill the other one. So we can see my Lifa got that buff. She didn't need it because she never got the no revive debuff in the first place. And at this point it's just pretty much RNG. Pray to the luck gods or the dice gods, whoever you happen to pray to for that particular aspect of your gaming. That would apply to your helper Morgan, but it's not needed. It's just useful as kind of a fail-safe in the event that something goes terribly wrong during the Renta fight. The second mini-boss that you're going to be fighting, or the second round, Ruin Trolling. Fairly straightforward, just kind of use your first skills and kill him. I could use my third skill on Lifa, because I'm not going to be really relying on her to kill Renta himself. But we're going to just kind of slowly do damage to him. The boss has an AoE skill that will apply poison, and has a small chance to stun your characters when attacking them. But again, fairly straightforward. Just kind of kill them when you can. You'll want to save your Morgan cooldowns for the first two rounds, and you'll see why in a second. So the first thing Renta does is he attacks your entire team for a pretty decent chunk of damage. If he was attacking a wind or a dark character, he inflicts critical damage to them. Even with like my Rue or my Ramu at 5-star in hands with like plus 12 defensive runes, running at least like 18,000 base HP with 2,300 defense, he'll still kill her. Though with Ramu, she is a option if you need additional healing just to get to Renta. And also if you can apply Rue's status immunity, or one of your other healers applying that status immunity for the no revive debuff, you'll be able to use Ramu's revive passive at that point to kind of take that one hit if you need. I saved my Morgan's second skills for this part. The reason being, at the very start of the fight, he will apply a 2-turn evasion increase buff. It's a pretty significant amount. I believe just based on the bonus that Xenon provides, it's probably around 80% dodge. But Morgan's second skill, if it hits, will remove that one buff from an enemy. So in this case we saw Renta's evasion buff was removed. So we can just normally deal damage to him until right above his enrage phase. His enrage starts around between 75 to 80,000. Unfortunately, my Morgan did a little bit too much damage and dropped him below that. When he enrages, he will apply a reveal or weakness reveal debuff to one character, and he kind of rotates. He'll eventually apply this to other characters, but it allows Renta to have a 100% chance to crit that character. He also gets that evasion buff back for 3 turns. He gets penetration, so any damage immunity shields, he'll be able to damage through those. and then he gets a hit back buff where he has a 100% chance to counterattack for this entire phase. Unfortunately, you can't exactly wait this out, because once the buffs get to about 1 turn duration left, he'll just re-put them back up. So at this point, you just have to hope that you can actually hit him and finish him off before he kills your team. So fortunately, that Morgan was able to hit him and finish him off. So we're going to retry this. I have more Morgan helpers, but we're going to run with just my Electra. You don't necessarily need your Morgan or your helper Morgan to be particularly strong. Again, Scarlet provides a significant HP or attack bonus. To your entire team. And again, at this point, we're going to be attacking the big snakes, kind of getting them low. While trying to avoid killing these smaller snakes. My Leafa has a significant chance to crit, which will give her multi-strike, so I'm going to defend here. Apply the status immunity buff to my main units that I'm going to be relying on. And then I can just finish off these snakes without having to worry about the no revive aspect for these characters. And then also potentially my Electra, which she did this time. She gained the cure buff from the smaller snakes. So if Electra dies for whatever reason, it's unlikely to happen, but if she does, she can revive. So again, at this point, we're going to just do some damage to him. That was his AoE attack that has can apply poison to your entire team. So we just quickly killed him and got to the third round, where we have to deal with Renta again. So Morgan can remove it with his second skill. Rue has a chance to remove it with her first skill, the evasion buff. Fortunately, she wasn't able to. But we were able to get a taunt off with Electra, so he's going to be focusing on her for a turn. And again, we brought him down a little bit too fast. So we will try and finish him off if at all possible. Which did not happen. I'm going to put Electra's damage immunity shield. So at this point, that was fortunate. My Morgan didn't have the no revive debuff, so she was able to revive with her passive. We're going to try and keep everyone healthy and just hope we can do some damage to him, kill him before he wipes out the rest of my team. So we were able to kill him through that enrage. Hopefully the next run, I'll be a little bit more careful about not dropping him down too hard. I was going to run Morgan Helper, but my helper list decided to randomly change. did not work, so we'll just go in again with the same team. So this is one of those cases where either, like, if you have a character that has high multi-strike, they end up killing one of the smaller snakes. When you end up killing this second snake, the no revive debuff is going to go back on your entire team. So at this point we have two chances to hope for, say, Morrigan to get the no revive debuff cleared. It did not happen this time. So we're going to need to be a lot more careful about how much damage we're dealing to Renta. So Rue was able to hit him. She was not able to remove the evasion buff though. So we're going to have to try with Morrigan. She was able to remove it, so we can just normally do damage. If you're not able to remove it, or you don't have a character that can, you can always just wait it out for the 2 turns. Maybe you're running a few more healers, so you can kind of sustain through that damage he's going to be dealing. At this point, I'm going to try and just do damage with my Rue and Electra, get him down to that enrage point. We can just defend here. That reflect damage is going to drop him to just above that enrage point. It should be 75,000. And from here we can just use Morrigan's 3rd skill, and that should either kill him or get him very close to it. And that is how you clear Renta Advent 3-star.